Have you ever made a promise that you later regretted? Something you said in the heat of the moment, only to realize the weight of it later? In Numbers 30, we find a deep dive into the serious nature of vows, and it's not as simple as saying, "I'll do this" or "I'll give that." The Bible makes it clear that vows are binding, and their consequences can ripple through our lives in unexpected ways. But here's the twist. What if there's more to vows than we've been taught? What if, through understanding these laws, we can uncover powerful truths that offer freedom instead of restriction? Stick around, because what you're about to discover might just change the way you see promises and your relationship with God forever. Then, let's read the chapter together. Moses said to the heads of the tribes of Israel, "This is what the Lord commands. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by a pledge, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. When a young woman still living in her father's household makes a vow to the Lord or obligates herself by a pledge and her father hears about her vow or pledge but says nothing to her, then all her vows and every pledge by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her father forbids her when he hears about it, none of her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. The Lord will release her because her father has forbidden her. If she marries after she makes a vow or after her lips utter a rash promise by which she obligates herself and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her, then her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband forbids her when he hears about it, he nullifies the vow that obligates her or the rash promise by which she obligates herself, and the Lord will release her. Any vow or obligation taken by a widow or divorced woman will be binding on her. If a woman living with her husband makes a vow or obligates herself by a pledge under oath and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her and does not forbid her, then all her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband nullifies them when he hears about them, then none of the vows or pledges that came from her lips will stand. Her husband has nullified them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or nullify any vow she makes or any sworn pledge to deny herself. But if her husband says nothing to her about it from day to day, then he confirms all her vows or the pledges binding on her. He confirms them by saying nothing to her when he hears about them. If, however, he nullifies them some time after he hears about them, then he must bear the consequences of her wrongdoing. These are the regulations the Lord gave Moses concerning relationships between a man and his wife, and between a father and his young daughter still living at home. Let's say a quick prayer to thank the Lord for his mercy. But first, leave a comment below, share your thoughts, and let's continue this conversation together. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. There's so much more to explore on this journey of spiritual growth. God, thank you so much for the wisdom you've shown us today. It's amazing how you reveal things to us, piece by piece, and I'm truly grateful for the insight gained through this study. Please help me to apply what I've learned, to keep my word true, to seek your grace when I falter, and to walk in integrity every day. When I feel the weight of my promises, remind me that you're there to guide me through. Thank you for your love and patience, and for always being there, ready to help me grow. Amen. So, what does all this mean for you? The next time you make a vow or promise, ask yourself, is this commitment coming from a place of wisdom, or am I just reacting to pressure? And if you've found yourself stuck in a vow that's become a burden, take a step back. Do you feel the weight of it? Remember, grace is available, and you don't have to carry that burden forever. Whether it's a vow made out of excitement, impulsiveness, or even hurt, God's forgiveness and guidance are there, ready to lift you. So, what vows have you made that might need to be brought before God for a fresh start? And, as always, don't forget to check the last video and learn more about the scriptures.